Alright then everyone, now we're ready to move on to our Robben Ford chapter. If you don't know Robben Ford, he is a fantastic bluesy jazz fusion player who's created so many awesome sounds, and he's kind of got a pentatonic scale named after himself. This scale itself is exactly the same as your minor pentatonic once again, but one note is different. The minor seventh, or the flat seventh, is replaced with the sixth. So that one note changing in your scales is going to give you this really modern, fresh sound. It also gives you slight Dorian tonality in terms of modes. So you can start to get a modal tonality out of your pentatonic scales. So we're going to look at the 5 licks in this chapter as we have done in the other chapters. And let's go on and have a look at those next. Okay, there was our lick 1 around our E shape and position 1. As you can tell, this has got a very classic kind of bluesy feel, but it's got this one different note, this natural sixth. So where you're rolling through the bend there, you know, you'll be used to getting the 8th fret of the 2nd string, the B string there, but now we've got that 7th fret, which gives it our new flavour, and once again we're hitting that in a different octave as well, slightly later on in the lick. These double stops at the end is sliding 5-5, 7-7, 5-5 on the B and the G string is a really kind of funky kind of flavour. This scale does have quite a funky sort of fusion element to it, so it's good for you kind of bluesier, jazzier guys too as well to get something new with your pentatonic scales. So let's go and have a look at example 2. Okay, there was our example 2 around the D shape of this Robben Ford pentatonic scale. Starting off quite funky with some little double stops. As most of you know, I'm really into my funk playing, so a couple of funk licks are coming out here. Having strings 8, frets 8 on the top string, 10 on the second, and then getting 10 and 10, and then 7 on the B, 8 on the E, and then 7 and 10, with quite a funky little pattern there with your picking hand. Try to get that nice and consistent. And then we've got a little bit of a fiddly sliding lick where you're sliding into the 9th fret on the G. I recommend maybe your middle finger, and then a sort of 10-7, and then a slide on your index finger on into the 7th fret on the B, and then same notes as you had again, 10-7 on the D string. So a little bit of a fiddly ending there, but quite a fun one to play and gives you some new things to vamp over your static root backing track. Let's look at example 3. Okay, there was example 3 there up around our C shape of this Robben Ford pentatonic scale. This one I like to call If Hendrix Played Fusion. It's quite a fun one here. We start off with a very kind of classic double stop idea where you've got the 9 on the G string, 10 on the B string, then you're hammering into the 11 on the 3rd string there. Very, very popular technique. Then we've got some little sort of quarter tone bluesy curl bends once again. And on the end we've got a couple more double stops. You can see these are a real feature of these licks here. 13 and 10 on strings, the B and the E, and then 13 and 12. So quite a cool little lick here. Really fun one to play over your backing track. Let's go and have a look at example 4. Right, so another lick that gives you that classic jazzy blues kind of flavour here up around the A shape. This one you can see once again we've got some sort of quarter tone blues bends that are really fun to add into your playing there. Make sure you sort of copy the rhythm of this because that's what gives it its really specific flavour here as well. And some little sort of simple bends as well, but the real emphasis here being on the kind of groove and that jazzy bluesy feel. Let's go and have a look at example 5. Alright, there was our example 5 there. This one quite a cool hook kind of theme to a song, if you like. You're basing it starting around a main kind of riff. Once, as I've always say in every chapter, make sure you do the G-shaped ones, example 5s, up an octave too, so you can go them flowing in each direction. As you can tell, yeah, we've got a little bit of a, you know, it fits under the fingers quite nicely with some different bends and everything like that, grabbing that natural major sixth, if you like, every time, giving it that real flavour as opposed to the flat 7 we're normally used to, or minor 7 in our minor pentatonic, really giving it that flavour. So, as I always say, make sure you drill the scales in first, especially if you're finding a lick sort of a little bit uncomfortable. Just drill the scale for a couple of days. Don't worry about the licks not coming straight away. They will come, but get used to these new pentatonic scales because it's going to have so many flavours by the end of this book that it'll be amazing what you'll be able to come out with. So that was our Robben Ford scale. We're going to go on and look at the next chapter next.